Hey everyone, it's me again. It's Yvonne Emil Elizondo, and here I am with the astrology update for the week of the Sunday the 21st, March 21st, until Saturday the March 27th. All right, awesome. Okay, so I just noticed something, so bear with me here, okay? I'm really like looking and thinking, wow, look how cool the light is reflecting off my crown over here, and I'm realizing that this is actually gray hair. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm going to have to process that. And actually, this week is really going to be about perception and processing perception. But okay, so before we get started, as I said, we're going to use some oracle cards. Look at these, the back. These are the Indigo Angels by Doreen Virtue and her son Charles Virtue. And she's no longer making these, but long story, won't go there. Anyhow, again, I just like to credit, artists and authors and so forth. All right, so let's see what, our message might be for this week as we step into, moving away from a lot of that Piscean watery energy into moving into some more Aries, fuel propelled, explosive, passionate, motivated type of energy. So, all right, so the message for this week, oh gosh, look at that. Self-reflection. Isn't that pretty? I love these cards. All right, so self-reflection. Yes, I am self-reflecting on my gray hair that I thought, look, oh my God. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna need a hairdresser. Okay, so this week, let me grab my notes. This week, as I said, we're moving away from that more Piscean watery, pile up that we had the last 2 weeks. And yesterday was the spring equinox, the Ostara, right, as I prefer to refer to it. And it's when the sun ingresses from Pisces, it's ending the zodiac calendar season, so to speak, and it's transitioning or ingressing into Aries. And Aries is the first zodiac sign that we, typically attribute to the zodiac wheel. Okay, back in the day, spring equinox was actually the first day of the year. Yes, and that's until the Romans came along and just totally transitioned us to a Roman calendar. But anyhow, for this week, how this impacts you is, Sunday is really going to be more of a, let me backtrack by saying that this week is going to be all about perception, misperception, perception, misperception. There's a lot of percepting, if that's such a word, going on, because there's quite a bit of Mercury involved, and then there's quite a bit of fogginess involved, and then there's quite a bit of stepping into that space of fieriness in Aries. So there's a lot of perception going on and seeing how we feel with that. So ultimately we're going to, I don't have a chart this week, so please forgive me, I'm just going to look down at my notes. But essentially what we have on Sunday is really so yesterday the sun ingressed into Aries. Okay, it's at home, it's exalted in Aries. So the place where the sun is it's highlighted, right? It highlights that space for about 30 days. Now, this is important in every individual's chart, and that's why I recommend having a natal chart reading done so you know exactly what part of your chart is being highlighted. But for a general reading, we're really talking more about like, this is a time where spring comes along. Things are put into motion. There is motivation and action that takes place, but sometimes there is an impulsive or a rush or a feeling of needing to step into that action without actually thinking about the details or the consequences. So this is the time that we give birth to things. That term birth is, I don't mean like, having a child per se, but it's the time, could be, but it's the time where we're actually putting things into motion and making things happen. So this is the energy of that sun in Aries. And so yesterday, the sun entered Aries, but today, Venus, the goddess of love, connection, beauty, potential finances, steps into Aries as well. So now we have two of our personal planets. One is the sun, the energy, and the other one is how we're connecting, how we're loving, how we are appreciating the beauty of life. We are now seeing this in a more fiery, hot, type of passionate sort of way. And Venus in Aries can definitely be passionate, but she can be very hot-headed. So you may feel on Sunday like you want what you want and you want to get it. And if you don't, you might end up throwing a little tantrum, so to speak. All right, again, this is very general, right? So we transition into Monday, and Monday is more about the creative forces, okay? Because we have the moon really connecting with Neptune, right? The moon is our perception, okay? Our higher mind, our default emotional response collectively, okay? It really represents the vibe that we are, we're all pretty much experiencing. And when it connects with, in a trine with Neptune, there is a cohesiveness that allows for a lot of creative forces. It's thinking outside the box. It's diving into more of that artistic, maybe, or spiritual type of opportunity. So on Monday, be open to those more creative, spiritual, imaginative opportunities. And you will see that on Tuesday, we kind of switch gears from, wow, this is imagination. I know what I'm feeling and I know what I'm seeing. And then all of a sudden it's like, put the brakes on that. Didn't sound too well, but you put the brakes on that. And you may transition from perceiving, imagination, really tuning into the intuitive nature, into misperception, because we have Mercury in Pisces. And again, Mercury is thinking, communication skills. Okay, it's how we connect with other people on a mind-to-mind, verbal, text, anything written kind of way. And in Mercury and in Pisces, Mercury has a more challenging time because Mercury is air, it's fluid, it wants to move around, it's the messenger of the gods. But all of a sudden in water, it's like trying to swim one way or another. And if you've ever tried to maneuver very quickly underwater, it is rather challenging. So that is Mercury. You may have a difficult time putting things into action because Mercury is squaring, okay, it is Kung Fu fighting with Mars in Gemini. Mars in Gemini is in an air sign. So Mars is kind of all over the place in air, and it may get too all over the place and may become overwhelmed with the different directions that it wants to go in. So thinking about and really wanting to communicate those things in water, you may find it difficult. Okay, but also how you are perceiving the situation may make you feel overwhelmed or feeling like you have to head in different directions and you don't feel quite as grounded. There's lack of earth in this particular case. So that is Tuesday. Wednesday, we have more overall of a tug of war kind of going on between, that intuitive sense. The moon is by that time in Leo, it's a fire sign. It likes to do things for itself. Leo is very me, on a good vibration. On a higher vibration, it's about us, but sometimes Leo has a hard time getting up to that higher vibration. Not always, but sometimes. The moon in Leo is really about wanting to do things that make you feel comfortable, okay? However, it is in a tug of war with an opposition with Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn in Aquarius is at home, it is strong. Aquarius is a fixed air sign, okay? So Saturn in a fixed air means that it's not necessarily moving around a whole bunch, right? So that intuitiveness of Leo, fire, motivation, wanting to transform and do things out in the world versus the responsibility of what's going on in here may make you feel like you're kind of tug of warring, throughout the day. I want to feel and pull towards this because it's making me feel good. It's comfort. And then Saturn kicks in. It's like, no, you need to be responsible. There are rules and regulations. And the moon is like, really, I want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun and guys do. And then Saturn's like, nope, can't do that because this is what we need to do. So that's the feeling for, for Wednesday. All right. And then Thursday, we move into, again, see perception versus misperception. We're going to have to change our minds a whole bunch, or our perception of our situation a lot this week. So on Thursday, we start to see that the sun and the moon, the sun and Venus are both in Aries. Aries is the fire sign, right? It's kind of impulsive. Both of these come together. They meet up late on the 25th on Thursday, and it transitions into Friday the 26th. And so now we have the Venus and the sun. And when a planet comes close to the sun, it's almost as if it gets hidden by the sun, because the sun is the rays of light. And so ever try to look at, I don't know, like a planet or a moon or something when the sun is in the way? It's kind of hard. I mean, just even looking at an airplane and you kind of have to do this kind of thing, right? That's what happens to Venus. She gets caught up in the sun's rays. And so now all of a sudden she may not be all that graceful. Okay, she may, and in Aries, she may find that she's a little bit more fiery, that she wants to show herself more. Okay, and the sun is kind of like, no, you need to play my game because I own Aries, right? I'm exalted in Aries. And Venus is like, and she may feel forced. So you may feel forced to have to do things, okay, to connect with other people on Thursday and Friday. You may feel like, a little bit more hot-headed, a little bit more fiery those 2 days. You might find that other people are responding to you that way. Again, it's all in perception, right? And then towards the end of Friday, we have the moon is now in Virgo, and the moon in Virgo is very much about the details. It's organization. It's, cleaning, germophobia, kind of, sort of, which we should all be doing because 20 seconds is what you should be washing, right? But the moon in Virgo is very sensitive to other people's feelings, but it's also very sensitive for their own sake, okay? It's the healing moon. And late on Friday evening, it squares, okay, again, it Kung Fu fights in an abrasive way with Mars in Gemini. Again, Mars in Gemini is kind of wanting to go all over the place because Gemini is air sign. It enjoys, kind of being all over the place. And Virgo is not a very an over the place kind of sign. So there may be that intuitive sense, okay, that sense of feeling safe when you're kind of isolated on your own, but you may feel like you have to put yourself out there to get things done and be social and connect with other people. This is classic me. Like, I don't do very well in small talk kind of situations. Okay, if you ask me to go to an after hours kind of situation, I'd be like, give me a Mexican martini and I'll sit here at the bar and I'll be good. I don't do very well in, kind of little social interactions. This is the moon in Virgo squaring Mars in Gemini. All right, that's Friday. And then on Saturday, again, we're going to switch gears here. And it's really going to be about that intuitive sense, that emotional feeling, and tug of warring with how you perceive situations, because now it's the moon in Virgo opposing Mercury in Pisces. We just talked about Mercury and how it kind of has a hard time in the water sign. And so there may be this sense of like fogginess, especially after the moon taps into Mercury and then immediately taps into Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune, again, on a high vibration can make us feel imaginative, creative, spiritual, and on a lower vibration can make us feel foggy, confused, okay? And when the moon and Neptune are tug of warring, opposing each other, that's typically what happens, is that we feel foggy, we don't have direction, we feel kind of confused. So once again, we are misperceiving. Okay, all right, so that's, Saturday, that's pretty much it. I mean, there is a lot of moving back and forth and having to shift between feeling this way and fire, getting motivation, and then switching to responsibility, and then feeling like you have to get things done, and then feeling like you're ping-ponging all week. All right, everyone. Whew, I hope this was helpful in some way. Again, please remember that this is a general overview of the energy for the week. If you want to learn more about how you can use this more in depth, more individualized, let's get a natal reading done. You can reach out here on Facebook. You can contact me at spiritualessence.com. That's spiritual-essence.com. And you can find me at Witchy Gypsies. Okay, Witchy Gypsies as well. Woo! All right, let's prep for the week, everybody. Hey, at least we're not going to all be sobbing and crying and in our feelings. That's because we won't know how we're feeling this week because we're headed in all different directions. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Take care. Blessed be.